Hello, welcome to Norway, and the pocket battleship Tirpitz sunk in 1944 by the RAF.
Let's say because the ship it tipped around, so people were trapped inside, and local people they say they could hear people banging on the ship.
That's the voice of our guide in the background. Doesn't look all that big, does it? 3,000 people, I think, or something like that on it. Maybe that's wrong. But we went off from there and had a look around. And saw some deer who decided to run away from us because they're escapees and they don't want to be caught again. They're not in some deer farm or anything, so they always run away in that case, apparently. So this is a video from my winter holiday in January 2017 in Norway. Yeah, I think I know which century I'm in. The weather was probably much the same then. Actually, no, the weather is warmer now. There's no doubt this was a warm January. As you can see, there's places not covered by snow. I mean, maybe freak, it may be global warming. I suspect global warming, personally. And I think it's probably at least in part anthropogenic. And even if it isn't, there's no good reason for polluting the place. Economics is not a good reason for pollution. Survival maybe, but not just making money. We're off to see some Stone Age carvings in, well, not too far from Tromso, actually. There's one of the local inhabitants, one of those deer or moose or something. And there they are, that's our guide as well. He can walk on the snow in those things, I couldn't. I had spikes.
They are about 4,500 years before Christ. They are carved from
So yeah, 4000 BC or so. I don't think it's just graffiti. It's too hard to carve this sort of stuff in rock. They're clearly deliberate messages. A reindeer there. But what the message is isn't clear, of course. Sort of a time capsule from the Stone Age. I assume they were coloured in by the locals to keep them visible, but and they may well have been coloured originally. I mean, the Stone Age people had red ochre and stuff like that. This was a little guided tour that I booked for my holiday. Just the guy takes a couple of people around on a drive to see some of the slightly out of the way sights. I mean, seeing the Tirpitz, I didn't even expect to see that, for example. Life is full of surprises. You can see the weather is a little bit wintry. Well, dark anyway. The day is pretty short this time of year, obviously. I think from November through to early January the sun doesn't actually rise at all above the horizon. It'll get a bit lighter because it gets close to it, but not. You don't get full daylight. At this time, this was around about 28th, something like that, of January. There is... it's up for a couple of hours or something like that. The sun's sort of setting again by 1:30ish in the afternoon, or 2 anyway, something like that, getting dark noticeably. This is the morning, 10ish or something. Nice and cloudy if you like that. Dark fjord. It's nice to visit, but I don't think I'd want to live in this climate somehow. Not much vitamin D around here. Except in the animals, I suppose, if you're going to eat them. Scenery is nice with mountains and lakes or fjords, but it is rather bleak. Not that much can grow in this cold and dark place. I kind of contrast it with my holiday in, or at Lake Como in Italy. Similar mountainous scenery, but way more lush. Reminds me of the moors in England, Dartmoor, Exmoor, Yorkshire Moor, places like that. These dark rocks. I don't think it's granite, I think this is some sort of something else. I'm not a geologist. But there's granite on Dartmoor, for example, that I've seen, and it doesn't look like this. This is much more black. Now we're heading towards Sommaroy, or Summer Island. Sommaroya. Sommaroya. Somewhere around here. Now that mountain way in the distance, but actually blocked by this nearby island, but just peeking over it, is the island of Håja, H-A-Y-A, or Haja, which the ice cathedral in Tromso, or the Arctic cathedral, is based on. It has a similar shape. When looked at from certain angles, you can kind of see the resemblance here. Those two left peaks. But we're crossing the bridge now to Summer Island, or Sommaroy. And this reminds me, I've made a Windows wallpaper of my photos from the Norway trip, or Windows theme, basically, with backgrounds that change. So I'll stick a link to it if I can figure out how to upload it and what have you, in the description below the video. So you can download it if you want to. It runs in Windows 10. I don't think it'll run in earlier versions of Windows because they changed the file name and the content. The actual file just contains the pictures and the instructions for Windows for the theme, like the colours and stuff. So it's just text and pictures. There's no actual code, no executable code in it. So you download it, and you basically, in Windows 10, you just double click on it or something, and I think it'll sort itself out. Or maybe you have to open it from the themes dialog. Can't remember. So people come here in the summer. It's a bit of a resort. For the locals, though, not usually tourists. Tourists tend to stay in Tromso, except for people like me. It's a busy place. There's several sheds here. And there we are. Summer Island. Next, we go for a little drive. From here, we're heading toward Ersfjord. We have to pass or drive around the land. So we're sort of driving around the edge of the field. To get there, we have to pass a few such places. The weather closing in. As you can see, it was a bit of a dodgy day.
Kattfjord, but I'm not sure why it's called.
In case you didn't hear that, it's the Fjord of Cats, Kattfjord, K-A-T-T. Don't know exactly why. Didn't see any information about it at all online anywhere. There may be something somewhere, but I didn't see anything when I was looking around. There is a native species of cat in Norway, long-haired of course, as you might expect. Strange place for a tropical desert type animal to live, although it's a bit sparse here of course, the life, but it's not exactly warm. But then humans are tropical animals too. And we're just turning into to drive around Ersfjord, which is the southern bit of the fjord. It's still Kattfjord. But as I mentioned, you have to drive all the way around the fjords to get to places here. It's a bit like IKEA, which is also Nordic, thinking about it. You can't go from one end of the shop to the other. You have to zigzag all over the place, past every item, to get to the end. I think they've designed it on this basis, maybe. Wiping the window off there a bit. We'll be driving up that other bank shortly. We have to go all the way around the fjord. And there are people living here, and I think there are little hotels, or at least rented rooms out here and cabins, if you want to. Okay, we're approaching the end of the southern fjord, and we're going to just drive around the end here and go back up the other side. And you can see there's a reasonable number of people living here, even though it's, well, in London terms, in the middle of nowhere. I'm not used to communities where there may be 100 people or something. I don't know if it can be called a community when people are so spread out as well. But then again, I suppose they can just hop in a boat and cross the water. I mean, it's kind of the opposite situation, I suppose, in London. Probably these people all know each other. I mean, in London, it's normal for people not to know the other people who live in the flats in the same house. I don't know people who are here. Could make the effort, but it's not typically done, because people just come in and move out after a few weeks or a few months, and you're never going to see them again anyway, so what's the point, really? Of course, you don't know what the point is unless you do it. But here, social activity tends to revolve around activities. People don't meet you for you, and this is probably true in life in general. People don't really meet you for you so much as for jointly attended activities of some sort or another. Up here, I don't know what it might be. Northern Lights watching, fishing. Mind you, those are... maybe the fishing anyways probably work. There are deer farmers, of course, or moose farmers, or whatever those things are. Elks? I don't know. Well, they're all types of deer, but... see what the weather's like here. A little bit grim. No doubt they get less rain than Manchester in the north west of England, but still. I was keeping warm by wearing a seriously windproof winter coat made in Sweden, and also 3 layers of polyester clothing underneath, because cotton is no good for cold weather, especially if it gets wet, whereas polyester and acrylic are not bad, polyester especially. But it wasn't actually all that cold because of global warming or Norwegian warming or whatever it is. You can see there isn't much snow. Some of it was melting, so we're in the region of 0 to 4 degrees. Celsius. 35 Fahrenheit, something like that. And the weather did close in, as you can see. We finished on Ersfjord and we've even gone past Nordfjord. And somewhere down here is the lake, Kattfjord. But I didn't see it. Maybe it is actually frozen over and covered with ice or something, but we must have driven past it on this side, but I didn't see it or didn't notice it particularly. There was some sort of swampy, icy bit. Maybe that was it. But I mean, it's nice weather, mate. Well, and nice scenery if you're into this sort of wintry stuff, I suppose. Certainly nice scenery in its own unique way. And here we are at Ersfjord. Apparently there is a captain of some huge cruise liner who brings it in here sometimes and sort of parks it up because he actually lives in one of these houses. And he'll pop in to visit his wife every now and then. Apparently. Or at least once he's done it anyway. Reputedly. Channel does sightseeing videos like this, and gameplay videos, and vlogs about science or anything else I can think of. So if you happen to be interested, or if you've liked this video, do like, subscribe, and I'll see you in another one. Bye for now.